today. Then the Italian Air Force C-27J Spartan back to flying aerobatics in 2019. Then we were to have seen the US Air Force CD-22B Osprey, but that, as I said, has cancelled. At 12 noon will be the Romanian Air Force with the MiG-21 Lancer C, first MiG-21 display in the UK for 18 years. Then the plan is to move on with the Italian Air Force F-2000A Typhoon, the US Air Force F-16C demo team, pilot from Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina, aircraft from Magdalen Air Base in Germany. Then the RIAT Chinook due to be on slot just before 1:15, but all of this, of course, as I was saying, very much weather dependent. Then we've already lost the Royal Grenadian Falcons from today's programme. So after that, the schedule has us moving on to the Royal Air Force Tucano, then the takeoff, the NATO 70th anniversary flypast starting at 1:30, followed by the solo Royal Air Force Groff Tutor, then the Royal Air Force Battle of Britain Memorial flight, of course, very, very weather dependent as to whether they will even get airborne from their base at Coningsby in Lincolnshire today. Then the NATO flypast overhead at 2:15, the solo Royal Air Force Typhoon to follow that, and then the fast jet recoveries from the NATO flypast. They will be followed, if all goes to plan as we move on through the afternoon, by the French national aerobatic team, the Patrie de France, at just after 2:45. And then the hope is that conditions will be good enough for a special flypast today of the Patrie de France in combination with the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows, both of them in Concorde formation. Getting airborne meanwhile, the Spanish Navy Cessna 500 going back to base Rota. Nice to see that aeroplane in to the flying display for a wonderful piece of originally British aviation technology, but in this case American produced, because the United States became an early adopter of this aircraft type. Production agreements were entered into. There indeed comes the great trail of spray in the wake of the Spanish Navy McDonnell Douglas EAV-8B Harrier II class. After the United States, Spain was the first export customer for the Harrier. They bought the early McDonnell Douglas produced AV-8A model. They called it the AV-8S Matador, S for Spain. And they were delivering speeds of 350 knots for an aileron. The 9th Squadron's pilots are graduates of the 5-year course at the Spanish Naval Academy. When they graduate, they spend 2 years doing other duties on board ship, and after that, carrier track, landing on a conventional aircraft carrier in the T-45C. The aircraft now going into a maximum performance turn, recapturing the... He doesn't in, but he's found a gap to come back in and capture the display line. Just hear the change of tone there with the engine as he's throttling back now to read the Harrier. Yeah, the Harrier that we're seeing now is fully manually controlled, whereas the Light 2 is fully fly-by-wire and electronically augmented stability model. I think also very interesting to contrast this 80-knot flight past with some of the other high-alpha flight pasts.
thrust to slow the aircraft down, which we'll see to good effect in a moment when the aircraft does its operating demonstration.
And that engine, of course, the legendary Rolls-Royce Pegasus, originally a Bristol design before Bristol was subsumed, and it delivers 23,500 pounds of thrust, and it powers the Harrier to a maximum speed just under the speed of sound, Mach 0.9, which equates to just over 617 miles an hour. Nowadays, it's only the Spaniards, the Italians, and the US Marine Corps that still fly the Harrier. Sea Harriers of both the Fleet Air Arm Royal Navy and the Indian Navy have been retired, as have the ex-Spanish AV-8S models, which were passed on to the Royal Thai Navy. That event had been taking place this year, but into land now, having shown us a very potent demonstration of the storm capability, and there's another. From the Novena Escuadrilla of the Spanish Navy, the McDonnell Douglas EAV 8B Harrier 2 Plus. I hope somebody caught that on photograph, because that was superb. The aircraft was almost completely engulfed in steam and moisture coming off the runway. That will make a superb photo. Certainly well. I believe the aircraft being flown today by Lieutenant Andreas Medina. You can see they've painted the fins of their two Harriers that they've got here in special air tattoo colours to mark their debut at this event. I think also
weather diversion. The weather there is very similar as it is here at the moment, but quite important on the outbound leg that it's not just the UK we're looking at, because we need to know the weather for the departing crews that are going up to 5,000 miles in either east or westerly directions. And again, once again, the team of meteorologists that we have here are from around the country. They are all volunteers, as are the 1,500 or so volunteers that helped to set up the showground and dismantle it afterwards, and of course the 1,000 air cadets that are on duty here for a 2-week period.
Contact ground 121.175.
These just a few of the different areas of...
When using items such as personal umbrellas, we strongly advise traders, aircraft crews and personnel on the showground with items which may be affected by wind, such as temporary flags and furniture items, to take suitable precautions. In addition, don't forget that you can upgrade your day in the Aviation Club, the Flight Deck, the Cotswold Club or the First Class Lounge, where you can get lunch or afternoon tea by just going to the location and paying for a ticket on the door.
On display here in our static display. Interesting opportunity to compare those types and to compare the Super Tucano, if you've been to see that, with this Schultz Tucano T1 number 72 Squadron at Royal Air Force Mental News in Yorkshire. Liam Matthews, not able to go through his paces today, but we look forward to him flying aircraft being deployed back across the Atlantic to the European theatre by the then fairly newly formed US Air Force. It's clear that this would have to be a fairly regular feature of the years to come. While the Berlin airlift was still ongoing, North American and Western European leaders came together to discuss a way forward. Cleared for takeoff then, provided to us by Airbus Defence and Space, and coming to us from their flight test facility at Seville in Spain. Power coming up, brakes coming off and rolling now, the Airbus A400M. Always very interesting there. Look at the size of the aircraft. The bottom half is out in the cloud and the top half is in the cloud. Of course, the building of this aeroplane, a multinational effort in itself. The major assemblies are flown to the Airbus final assembly plant in Seville aboard the very distinctive Airbus Beluga freighters. The British contribution to the production effort comprises the outer wing box and the flaps, which are built at Filton in Bristol. And 30% of the complete structure of the A400M, known as the Atlas in Royal Air Force service, is made up of composites, and that's more than any other comparably sized military aircraft.
this turn. It's about the optimum rate of turn and radius of turn combined in one for this tactical delivery aircraft.
And a huge amount of condensation visible on the upper wing surfaces.
Yeah, that close to the cloud base, that's where the air is at its most moist.
Of these aircraft procured or on order as things stand. The French Air Force got the first operational A400Ms in 2013 and is now also in service, apart from with the RAF, with Germany's Luftwaffe, who've got one on static display here, with the Royal Malaysian Air Force, with the Spanish Air Force and the Turkish Air Force. And as of now, the global fleet of A400Ms, Airbus says, has 54,000 flight hours under its belt, a huge increase compared with the figure this time last year. The French have used them to support operations in Mali, including operations from dirt strips. Turkey have used them in Afghanistan, and they've used them to carry Bell Huey helicopters and Black Hawk helicopters. Germany has used them on international aid missions to Senegal, and the Atlas made its operational debut in the humanitarian airlift role with the RAF in September 2017 to Operation Reuben, hurricane relief efforts in the Caribbean.
Whilst flying with the fuselage 7 degrees nose up. That is actually the optimum angle for delivery of palletized loads out of the back of the aircraft. And if you look at the aircraft when it's on the ground, you'll see that the engines are actually counted down at 7 degrees to optimize the thrust line of the aircraft whilst it's in the cruise.
And talking of dropping loads, there was a new record set last November by an RAF Atlas when it dropped a 23-ton load by parachute over the Salisbury Plain training area. It was the heaviest load ever airdropped by a British military aircraft. For the RAF is complete, but they're already working up low-level missions, operations from austere strips as they're known, use of night vision goggles, and increasing the numbers of paratroops that can jump from the Atlas. In now for the fast pass that would normally include a steep pull-up and wing over. Again, this sort of maneuverability. Today with the cloud base out, there's no opportunity to do that.
Very distinctive howl from those enormous scimitar-shaped blades on the A400N there.
And that is his display, complete with a very, very welcome one given the conditions. Ordinarily has only been able to operate the Hercules as opposed to the likes of the C-17, for example, into.
Yeah, this aircraft absolutely bridges the gap between the C-17 and the C-130. The ability to carry strategic loads over distances over 4,800 miles really put the advancements of this aircraft into perspective. It's like a very, very difficult circuit there with a big slackening wind and the cloud base being on the very margins of the limits that this aircraft is operating to. I think this crew absolutely deserve a round of applause when they land.
And with the use of reverse pitch on the propellers, we should expect to see a very short tactical landing. and the software was able to be very rapidly upgraded while aircraft were deployed to Cyprus for Operation Shader, and it's brought the Typhoon yet another step forward. Rolling now, the Eurofighter Typhoon FGR-4.
But it needs to be under controlled circumstances, so the aircraft is brought down to passenger speed, which enables it to lower its undercarriage and configure correctly and avoid the air traffic control. And generally it takes about 7 to 8 minutes to go around the entire passenger
Airfield boundary, the Lockheed Martin F-35B Lightning.
Run, Forrest.
To the north of the runway. runway with the traffic inside, left 22, 26. Please runway vacated now with all the vehicles ground. Over. Please sir, just going to rig east and then turn remain north to plan. Gotcha, one motion, thank you.
Yeah, she was asking me for some.
Leader 3, Master, your 12 o'clock, your visual. It's over, it's over.